against SK Gaming. Fnatic, of course, 1-0 up and starting out as the blue team. Meanwhile, they are up against SK Gaming, who will be starting off against the red side. As the red side, they're not going against it. Everybody on blue side, everybody part of it.
We're one-sided game at least.
That's true. You're not wrong with that one. Are we going to see, though, because let's not forget, Game 1 was absolutely crazy at level 1. Are we going to see that here again? We see already a few people...
A lot of CC from SK here in level 1. I mean, Charm from GS's, the Cocoon from Enrated would of course not be ideal for him to... and Enrated, I mean, Svensson wouldn't be ideal, but still, if he really wants to land his first blood, I don't expect it, however. He obviously needs some damage early on in level 1 to do his wave clear here, but Enrated could start his own Q, his stun, then combine it with the Charm. You have a lot of CC coming down to Fnatic if they find someone.
Well, Cyanide got himself in towards that bottom bush, so they know that SK Gaming are not rotating around towards that lower tri-bush. Fnatic seemingly pinging heavily on that tri-bush in the top. That's where they believe SK to be right now, of course, until SK show themselves. It does look like we are going to have some late invades, so from both of these teams, it looks like Fnatic want to head towards the top red buff, and SK Gaming trying to do the same towards Fnatic's red buff.
Peke needs to be a little bit careful here, because he's going to obviously be the one to spot them. They're actually going in. No, they're moving down here, so Sana will spot them, will of course back away from this one. But they know now, at least, that SK want to invade in towards the red buff. And they can just do the same up in top lane and trade buff for buff. So both of them feeling fairly safe, even though they're late invading.
Well, that's going to mean that Cyanide is nowhere near said buff.
Very true.
Or is he? Because he's got a smite here. So if he can get that ward down, and we'll see if he can actually play around with this one. He's going to step forward. There's the ward in there. So he could smite this one away. Svensson is around, and that red buff already been done here by Fnatic up on the top side. Red buff did go down, and
Svensson got it.
Sverren, yeah.
So Fnatic is actually taking the red buff here with Soas, or Yellowstar actually picked up the red buff, so he can bully a little bit more in the lane. It means, however, for Cyanide, he's actually only going to get one buff.
Was that a mistake, or did he mean...
No, he was definitely just waiting for him to give it. He also threw the binding towards it. So the whole plan was to give the red buff to Yellowstar.
So we'll see whether he does bully out the lane with that one. So it's going to take it very low. Yellowstar having to tank this one through, so as we'll take up those golem golds though, and we'll see if he sticks around here. Freddy is coming up towards this top lane. May find a very low hit point Soaz in a moment. Yeah, Soaz realizing this is probably a little too risky. We saw it happen for Wicked, of course, yesterday up against Soaz. Got caught out while he was trying to back off and got quickly whimsied for the problem of that one. So Peke in the mid lane up against Jesus. We can see whether he keeps the farm going.
That mid lane, not a problem so far for either of them. Interesting to see how Yellowstar can bully this lane. Actually,
and
Freddy,
there's nobody.
I was going to say, Freddy doing the wise thing in this scenario and just staying away from it completely. He's just trying to take whatever he can from his own jungle. Has it level 2 already. Funnily enough, does have more CS from that Wraith camp as well than what Soaz is holding on to. This could be interesting. Svensson waiting.
Only level 2 though.
Around the golems, only level 2. And now that Cyanide's there, that's going to stop the threat that Svensson maybe would have had with the pressure onto his bottom lane.
So Fnatic actually decided to send Cyanide down here to try and defend. Normally, you see people just go to the opposite lane and just push it down. And Reddit, there's a stun. And he's dead.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's dead. Cyanide's in trouble as well. He's going to try and get away from this one. Who will take the kill? That's the question. And Rated got to be careful, taking very well away from this one. Candy Banner will take it, and that is easy stuff. Ready?
Oh my!
Oh,
the red buff! No!
The red buff not
it
enough
didn't even
to
work.
Take down Freddy.
The whole plan is gone.
The whole plan backfires, and well, Fnatic had a 3-0 lead in last game. Now SK Gaming with a gigantic lead and a push on this bot lane.
Right. So first of all, they sent 2 members down to try and defend down this bottom lane. Normally, again, you see people just going top, counter the split push by split pushing or lane swapping yourself. And instead, they tried to defend it. Level 1 Soas at the time. He got level 2 just as the dive began from SK here. It was too easy for them to just walk in and kill them. And that was it. So very weird level 1 here from Fnatic.
Showing number 1 SK how you do a 3 versus 2 dive in the bottom lane, and Fnatic showing how you don't do a 2 versus 1.
But he had red buff.
And well, if Soaz, if Reckless had had the red buff, let's say,
True.
that could have been a little bit different. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And SK now in a commanding position very early on. Actually, Xenoblade not quite got the range, and maybe they'll try and turn this one around. Yellow Star waiting to the side. There is the cocoon. Will SK be ballsy enough to dive again?
It's actually very lucky for Reddit he didn't connect here, because Yellow Star was just around the corner, would have landed the binding onto him under the turret. So Reddit stays alive here. Let's see what they decide to do. Obviously, there's actually a ward, so they know Yellow Star is waiting around.
Yes, Svenskeren is going to come straight around, catches a dart, binding the rest of Fnatic, turn back on towards him, has to flash away. Svenskeren, sloppy play there as he walks face check straight into Yellow Star.
I don't know if he did see him.
Well, there was a ward before at least, so I'm not sure which way he actually took down there. Anyhow, I'm still feeling a little bit weird about the whole red buff thing. Why they didn't give it to Soaz, who would then try and fight and defend himself in the bottom lane.
Don't get too emotional about it though.
No, I'm just saying, I just didn't get the idea. There's probably 100% sure there's a plan, because Yellow Star, he used his binding to get it, and Soaz was just waiting around. So there was the plan, obviously. Not sure why.
Not sure why. Either way, it's going to be a dragon here for SK Gaming. Have to take an initial tower. Jesus going in onto Peke. Not quite got the damage. And that's the exhaust at work right there.
And this is actually one of the reasons we see less assassins now, because of exhaust, because it's so strong at shutting down your burst. We saw it here. Jesus onto Peke, exhaust him in the face, and he actually doesn't have enough damage to kill Peke.
Wait, he actually did. He had the Foxfire. If it wasn't for the flash from Peke to get away from it, the Foxfire ended up going off to the minions, which he just stepped back towards him. Had the Foxfire on him, that would have hit on towards him. Not too sure. Could have done a lot of damage. Was taken very low. The Ignite was ticking, remember.
We will never know.
We will never know. We will never know. In fact, you would if you spoke to the players. True. If you spoke to Peke and Jesus directly. I distinctly remember a very young Bjergsen coming out after losing a duel to Peke. They went on and won the game, you guys did.
Of course.
All he cared about came straight around and basically talked to us about it, because he heard what we'd said about it. He's like, no, I could have won that duel if I'd have done this. It's like, these guys take it. I'll say, calm down, Bjergsen, you won the game anyway.
It's all about maximizing your performance. Everything. One little misstep and you're going to be like, damn, I did this wrong. I could have gotten a kill, or I couldn't have been the MVP of the game if I just stepped to the left instead of to the right.
Well, I think the official is more likely to ask Yellow Star why he got the red buff.
True.
At the start of the game.
I just want to hit a tactic, that's all. Maybe I can use it in solo queue.
Then that one. Let's have a look down the CS here as things start to settle a bit more. This mid lane is where the big difference is. 57 to 47 CS there between Ahri and Nidalee. Of course, in favor right now of Jesus on Ahri. But this top lane, this could be a turret going down. This could be the first one of the game for Fnatic. I was going to say no one from SK is there, but Freddy, of course, does have his teleport back, and he's going to go up there and using his ultimate here onto Reckless as well. Binding is actually going to land. There's a lot of damage coming in, and they were out of turret range as well, crucially this time.
And he's already level 6 because he picked up a kill, because he's gotten this farm and XP over here. So he's actually feeling very nice about this. And SK, they just continue to push down here because 2 members from Fnatic in the top lane.
Roles reversed in this game. SK Gaming continuing to push that dominance. So 2-0 turrets continuing on towards this inhibitor turret. I don't think they're going to be able to get on it. We do see Peke actually respond. No, hits alive. He's taking the raids away. Top turret goes down. First one for Fnatic of the game. And this inhibitor turret is taking some serious damage already from SK.
I'm going to say they might want to think about recalling from that top side of the map here. Cyanide did come back down, and apparently that's enough here to force SK away. This mid turret will surely become the next target. That's already down at half HP. The charm actually did land there onto Peke, but he'd already halfway through the jump, so not too bad for him. Freddy again forced off. Fnatic trying to do some pressure onto the inner turret in that top lane.
And we're gonna see a DFG very early here for Jesus. Already got the large rod, so once he completes it, we can see him start roaming around the map, trying to find picks. And yeah, if you find someone like Reckless, make sure the spell she doesn't block the charm. He can do a lot of damage onto him.
So we'll see how this game develops. At the moment, Fnatic have not backed away from the top, which means SK are not backing away from the bottom either. They're going to keep the pressure on. Soaz is actually trying to come a little bit further out of lane. He's going to get caught out by Candy Panda. A lot of damage coming out. The Culling doing all of the damage. Soaz has to use the Wild Growth. Can Candy Panda dash on towards it? Does flashes for it. Too many tower hits. Going to go on towards him. And Candy Panda so close to taking Soaz down. That was a straight up 1v1. If it rated him in there, he had Flash Ignite.
He would have actually killed him then. Remember though, Soaz is so close to his own base, he can just go back, heal up, and get into the lane to defend. Yellow Star recalled, Reckless also recalled, so they're gonna be defending this bot lane now, and SK will have to move away and focus elsewhere.
So this is the standard lane switch tower push strategy, but just a lot more awkward, I feel. Like, the same thing has really happened during this game, but slower and with those deaths that really shouldn't have happened. This middle turret is going to go down here. Jesus getting the better of that one. Black Shield will stop a bit on towards Peke. Svenskeren is coming around here, though. There's no fight to be had.
And Jez has really been taking full advantage of the fact they killed Sanat first in the lane swap, and then later on he was there trying to defend, so they knew where he was at all times, so there was no junglers, and he just kept pushing down the lane against this Nidalee, who's weak in the early game, and punished him, and now the mid turret is almost gone. A few hits more, and it will be gone. And saying, yeah, with their lane swaps we've been seeing here, the only difference, or the weird difference, was the fact that Fnatic went down and tried to defend the turret actually with only 2 members, and of course ended up dying for it.
So, where does this put Fnatic in the grand scheme of things? We're only 10 minutes into the game, well, just coming up to the 11th minute mark, but they are already 2,000 gold. That's going to become 3,000 as soon as that tower goes down, which is going to happen soon. Dragon up in just, what, a minute's time? So SK, there you go, 3rd turret of the game for them. That gives them that 3,000 gold advantage. Peke's on the Nidalee. Jezis is starting to become strong. This is becoming a serious problem for Fnatic already.
Yep, indeed. Especially because SK, with the Leona here, with of course Ahri jumping in, they can start the fight. So if Fnatic want to try and fight for something, it can be very scary for them, especially if SK are fully aware of where they are, can start it. Let's say the Dragon here in 35 seconds. If Fnatic wants to try and fight, that's where SK can just collapse onto them, get all the kills they need, because they are stronger at the moment.
Freddy actually going to go aggressive. He's popped his ghost from this one. There is the ultimate coming in. Wild Growth will knock him up, though. Freddy quite happy to just force Soaz away from this one. Probably get some turret damage in there as well. He does have teleport. Soaz has no teleport. He used it to get into the lane. That could be crucial for this Dragon.
And this is the issue with Lulu top lane. If you get lane swapped on, you won't be the lane bully that you normally are. So you won't get this advantage early on. It means once you actually swap back, you're not going to be much stronger than the guy you're going against, especially a bruiser like Freddy now, just going very aggressive towards him. And look here, Candy Panda closing in. They're going!
Solar Flare goes down. Peke quickly. The Black Shield doing enough. The culling coming out from Candy Panda, taking Peke very low from that one. I was kind of surprised SK actually went for that one, because you just saw before all that fight, Jesus took a hell of a beating as that spear landed from Peke.
And also here, Black Shield, of course, stopped the hard engage. Still though, Dragon for SK Gaming. Fnatic is close, but it can't really go in. Peke, he's just healing up here in the base. There's no way for Fnatic to actually fight for this Dragon.
This one is going over to SK Gaming, the second one of the game, holding a 3-kill lead, 3-1 up in towers, and 3,500 gold lead as well. Still rubbish at maths. They're on that front. But Jesus here, as you said, he did take a big blast, Dark Binding into a max range spear. That was almost an invitation for him to go home though and pick up that Deathfire Grasp.
Yep, so if he can actually catch out a target now, his burst is insane. And the whole idea behind this SK thing, with of course the single target damage from Elise as well. Catch up someone with a stun, with a charm, with a cocoon, and then just pile on them and destroy them. So Yellowstar, he really needs to be on point with his Black Shield.
Yeah, and those hard engaged solar flares are on a fairly quick cooldown, honestly. Jesus is going to be looking to power in there. There's the spear coming in, so it's going to be the blue buff secured for Peke. That's vital for him. There's the spear, not going to land this time on Jesus, and you can see SK already taking full advantage of the power they gained in this bottom lane early on, taking away everything from the Fnatic jungle.
Just getting full vision in here so they can actually spot Fnatic moving between the lanes. And just like in the last game, where Fnatic had the pick comp and they were waiting for SK to move out of the lane so they could find the right targets, SK are looking to do the exact same thing in this game. So we need to see how Fnatic handles this. I mean, are they just going to push out the waves and just say, oh, if you come here, we're dead? Or will actually play a bit like SK and just stay far back, try and farm? It seems not. They're actually pushing towards this mid-turret without any minions.
Yeah, a couple of turret hits tanked up there, and Jesus did come back quick enough to really stop any major problems and major damage going on to that one. Fnatic, of course, still only got 1 turret to their name after taking down that upper top lane, or outer top lane turret. Also upper, I suppose, if you look at the minimap. And on the CS, they've fallen behind on every front except the jungle, actually, where we've seen Cyanide just farm, trying to get that Feral Flare finished off as quick as possible.
Well, at the moment, the top lane has been a problem for SOAS. Let's just go back and pick up the idol, the new item available in 4.5. Gonna keep that one going. Freddy, of course, has been bullying him out every time he's gone in towards that top lane. We'll see how that fight continues, but SK really are starting to try and take advantage of this map dominance they've gained. We saw how Fnatic used it in the previous matchup. SK can try and do the same, and look at this. Everybody heading up towards the top. SOA's already aware of it, and also, so is Reckless. Look at Reckless. He's hard pushing that bot lane.
Yeah, Fnatic actually spam pinged on the turret down here, so Reckless, he's just going to push it all the way up. They're going to trade turrets for turrets here because they had full vision of SK moving with so many members to the top lane. They knew there was nothing they could do to defend.
So turret goes down, is the middle one, that's the question. Freddy and uses that teleport to get down there. Jez is defending out this one, goes aggressive, tries to pop in, catches out Peke with the charm, tries to pull the damage back down there with the DFG as well. Yellowstar instead uses his ultimate to help the disengage. And Fnatic, well, they're forced away from the tower.
And that was one member forcing Fnatic away. Jez went all in, all his damage, popped the DFG and everything. Peke though, with exhaust as well, used by Yellowstar. Never really got too low, but still he forced him away from the turret. It was all he wanted to do.
Also, that turret on the bottom side of the map didn't go down. Reckless was obviously pushing that, but Freddy TP'd from the top lane to make sure that that one stayed alive that little bit longer. So it actually leaves SK in an even better position at 4-1. Got themselves those 3 kills in there as well. The 4,000 gold that separates these two teams at this stage of the map. A very different game. I say a very different game to game 1. Almost a similar game to game 1, but for the opposite team.
Yeah, and we need to see with Cyanide, once he actually recalls and buys the Wriggles, how many stacks he's been farming up, because of course it already builds up. You just don't see the stacks before you buy the Wriggles, and he needs the 25 for the Fail Flare, the new jungle item, which is very, very strong on Nocturne. Attack speed, attack damage, everything Nocturne wants, so he can just go in the face of you and destroy you.
Well, we see SK Gaming, they are stacking 4 members up the mid lane, just off of the side. Svenskeren did just steal away that red buff area, taking away what he can. Candy Panda going aggressive as Yellowstar comes around. He's got to be careful he doesn't get caught a little too deep there by one of those Dark Bindings.
SOAS actually nearly died in the top lane as well. Freddy went all in onto him, got him very, very low. SOAS actually flashed away from him to stay alive there, but SK, they want this turret. They're going to siege up on this one. Next wave of minions is now coming down. How are they going to hold on to this one? The spears from Peke going to be a big force in it. Wave cleared out quickly. We've got 1 minute until the dragon comes up. Will Fnatic come out of their base? It looks like SK are trying to set up a trap for them.
This is what they need to do, because pushing onto the turret is very hard with the wave clear, with the risk of getting a spear or binding in your face. It's going to be very hard for SK to just go down and push when Fnatic is defending. So they need them to get out of the base, just like Fnatic needed SK to do in the last game here. That's why you see them backing off, moving around the corner with a very smart ward in the middle of the lane, so they can see Fnatic moving up here, try and start something. Dragon in 30 seconds. I'm sure SK would love if Fnatic were like to come and fight for it.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. They are in position to, let's put it that way. Remember, there's no teleport available for Freddy just yet. Used it earlier on to defend that bottom turret, which actually is having a big clearance right now. Candy Panda shoving that wave back in towards Reckless, who has to react in kind. And both these AD carries keeping their CS very much even. The mid laners as well doing the same thing at the moment. Dragon is spawning any second now. And Fnatic go in.
Yeah, actually, Wriggle's Lantern was finished off there by Cyanide. When he bought it, he had 22 stacks already, so that pretty much already moving up to that Feral Flare for him. Dragon does go down, though. Another one here for SK, 3rd of the game. It's now 5,000 gold.
And again, complete mirror from the last game. I mean, all the objectives now for SK Gaming. Let's see if they, in a few minutes or later on in the game, can start setting up the Baron, like Fnatic did, take it away simply by saying, we have full vision control here. If you face take us, we're just going to engage on you and destroy you. So you need to give us this Baron and just wait in your own base to defend. It could be the same thing turned around here. And then Fnatic, I mean, they just need to rely on landing the poke. If they manage to land a few hits, they can actually engage with Cyanide. So they do have options at least to make a comeback.
Well, SK have grouped 4 members in that mid lane again. Freddy, though, is all on his own in this top lane. He's going to get caught out. Dragon Descent being used. Ghost is not available in this time. He's still putting a hell of a lot of damage down on towards Soaz, who's already used that Wild Growth. Freddy trying to get the speed up. Paranoia had to be used by Cyanide to close that gap. The rest of SK, they're chasing. There is a ward to spot them out there. Soaz teleporting. He's getting the hell out of dodge. He's going to escape. Nocturne is safe, and he teleports safely down to the bottom. This has left this mid lane turret exposed, and Fnatic take advantage with a kill and a tower.
Very, very smart play by Cyanide. First of all, waiting up there. Freddy didn't expect it at all. He just walked straight in the bush there. Ended up actually dying for it. And then Fnatic take full advantage of the fact that SK tried to move there and help out Freddy. It was too late. He was already dead. And it meant the mid tower was open. And now down to bottom lane. Teleport is ready for Freddy. He can go down here to try and defend. He's going to do it. And at least keep this outer turret alive.
A bit of gold back thanks to that. And once this last outer turret goes down, then they'll be... I mean, they're still within grasping reach here.
Of course.
A couple more catches like that is what they are going to need to come into. It's still, of course, no Dragon attempt even by Fnatic. They've not been near it. I'm not sure that they actually have a clue on the timer.
It's the thing we talked about in Champ Select, how their team fight from SK is going to be very, very strong, especially if they get ahead, because then they can always engage onto Fnatic. And when you play these siege comps, if you fall behind, you need to be so careful, because if you get in a fight, it's not going to be in your advantage. That's why they simply said, we're just going to farm the lanes and try and get a turret here and there if you do a mistake on the map, and just let you have the dragons. We're not going to try and fight for them.
Well, Candy Panda comes in towards that top lane, so as not wanting any of that, steps well away from this one. Enrated and Svenskeren were waiting. They're hoping that somebody will step around. They're thinking Cyanide may try and go for a gank. They're trying to use Candy Panda as the bait to dangle forward, but it doesn't seem that Fnatic want to fall for it this time around.
Look here again, early home guards onto Peke, so he's definitely expecting to be defending, take a few hits, go back to base, join out again. Remember though, it is changed in 4.5. You need a few seconds for it to heal up, and Fnatic, Yellow Star, ooh, will he face check? No, that's actually a ward, so they're just pinging him. Let's see what Fnatic will do on the map. Down the bottom lane, there's a fight between Freddy and Pecker actually, but nothing else happening so far.
Well, they were trying to set up a trap, and actually Fnatic read it like a book because they had that ward there, and Fnatic were thinking, could we make a play off this one? They didn't really have the right players in the right positions, so it would have been a wrong call to make. Soa's going to try and steal that away from Candy Panda, but he manages to get it with the double shot that Lucian has. So top lane seems to be the objective focus for SK Gaming this time. Freddy had pushed heavily up against Peke, but wasn't really getting anywhere, which is why he's rotated in towards that mid lane.
And SK, they need to do the same as Fnatic last game with Xpeke on LeBlanc. They need to have Jesses catch out a target and just try and blow them up so they get them to go back to base, and then they can actually get onto the turrets.
Okay, actually moving in this time to try and do some defensive work and get those spears out there, which not having the most success rate for him at this point. He does have a needlessly large rod on top of his Fiend's Unholy Grail, so will already do decent damage with them, but only if they land. That's the big problem that he seems to be having right now. Meanwhile, Red Buff going to be assaulted here by SK Gaming, and that is taken away by Svenskeren.
Well, this is the exact same problem that we've seen Froggen having, of course, when he had nearly... When the team are behind, it's great to have those spears, but they're simply not sitting still. They're not standing in the position. You can't push them on that turret because you're not sieging it down. They're pushing you down. So they're well aware with the minion line to take those spears for you. So it's very hard for him to land those spears, and really when the rest of the team having to rotate around, you can see Peke doing everything he can. Lands a point-blank spear on Candy Panda. It does keep SK away though, and Fnatic having to do a similar role to what SK did in game one, simply holding out against this siege.
And I really like the fact that Freddy early on actually picked up or upgraded his boots into Distortion, which gives so many things now for him, because he brings Teleport, because he brings the Ghost, and so your Ghost now is gonna be even faster. I believe it's 40% it's up to now for a few seconds at least. And then also if you teleport down somewhere, you're gonna get a speed boost as well. So if he teleports somewhere, he can just speed up, get into the face of people very, very fast, and of course also the reduced cooldown.
And he can escape faster.
Also escape faster.
Something that he needed a little bit earlier on. Of course, the single kill that has come in for Fnatic was that cheeky move from earlier on in the top lane. There's another blue buff over for Peke, although not much doing with that at this stage. We do have a dragon coming up in less than 20 seconds time. Freddy's teleport is off cooldown, so as in a similar scenario there. The question is, will Fnatic want to play ball this time around that dragon pit? The way it's been going so far, I don't think they do.
They're chasing on towards Freddy. Everybody from Fnatic diving towards them. Paranoia being used. He's going to have to use that Dragon Descent. He gets out of the Fear Legion. Freddy is free. And this is bought time for SK to take that Dragon with ease. The rest of SK were trying to lay a trap because they were expecting Fnatic to come towards that Dragon. But of course, as you mentioned earlier on, Fnatic have no clue on the timers on this Dragon.
And they don't even want to fight for it anyway, because Freddy could teleport down. They seem to be going for him once more. Peg actually coming over here. There's no tower to help him.
Well, the spear does not land. Freddy with the burnout going to come back up in just a moment. Glitterlance does not land either. And he just walks away. And this has bought a lot of time for SK. All pushing down. Remember this bottom turret? They had a little go at it earlier on at the very start with that initial fast push. Now they're going to keep on towards this turret. Keep that pressure down on towards it with 3 members here. Finally, Fnatic react in time. Reckless was in the right place at the right time. Ooh, spear not the landing.
Spear hell on there.
That was exciting.
Well, some spears are going to be, they're going to be exciting for sure, I'll promise you that, because he's going to have himself a Rabadon's death cap at some point soon. Got 1,800 gold or so to spend from that one, but either way, they force SK back away from this one. And actually, I'm going to see some dark bindings coming on. SK all grouping up here in that mid lane, but again, there's some good wave clear and good poke back here from Fnatic. That's something that SK are going to struggle with.
But think, we've seen this before from SK. They try to push up and just instantly Fnatic punish them. Source now going on to Freddy here. Cyanide very close as well. No ultimate though.
Forces the Dragon Descent away from Freddy though. That ultimate down for a very short period of time. Fnatic are actually doing a good job at keeping SK at bay here. A much better job than we had before, and that advantage is still not that big. It's a 4,000 gold advantage that SK built up from the very beginning, but 4,000 gold as we start stretching it to the 30, the 40-minute mark is starting to get a shrinking big advantage when you're talking the gold's going to be up to the 50, the 60,000 mark.
And the thing for SK is every time they try to move down towards Fnatic, they get a spear in the face, they get a binding or something, so they get poked down and then they have to back off a little bit. I mean, we should have seen them just walk down the jungle here, clear all the pink wards away from Fnatic, get full vision control, and just sit there and wait for Fnatic to do something. And whenever, if they find someone out of position, Jesse will blow them up like Deathcap, DFG, he's so much damage. But because they move around again as a unit, it's also too easy for Fnatic to just land the spear, land the binding, and then SK is like, okay, we're just gonna back off for now.
Got an interesting fact for you here. We were talking about Freddy and his movement speed bonuses earlier on. When he uses his ghost, he's got about 520 movement speed.
Pretty fast.
You can't really catch him, I think is the point.
Then Burnout, Blizzard King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only going to be getting faster. So, yeah, can't catch Freddy. Peke going to get caught out a little bit here. The charm, though, doesn't land onto him. That charm would have surely been the death of him.
Would have been the death and would have been the pick SK Gaming needed to actually do something on the map. Instead, though, Candy Panda took some damage. Now N-rated, clearing out the ward here, getting some vision control, and moving towards this top lane with Source.
Yeah, 5 members, they've got the minion wave, and Fnatic are a little sluggish on this one. They are slowly rotating towards it. They may get here just in time, but you can see SK, they're going to get a lot of shots on towards his inner turret. I mean, well, look at the map. You can see Cyanide not with the team right now, but they've got good wave clear. They proved it there, and they've kept SK at bay.
Yeah, Cyanide's got his ultimate here as well, so he can move in. They've got it on towards Yellowstar. There's a Wild Growth coming in early. Freddy's right in the middle. No one going down just yet. Yellowstar actually going to get his ulti off. No, not quite. Jesus has gone down. Candy Panda's really low at the back. Cyanide has to flash out of things as Reckless takes down N-rated. They're going to keep chasing. One more hit. Double kill. Triple kill in just a second as he comes down on top of him. And now Peke is chasing on towards Freddy. And just like that, the gold is clawed back and the kill lead goes to Fnatic.
So SK Gaming invested so much onto Yellowstar here in the start of the fight, but the Wild Growth and everything that Mikhail's onto himself kept him alive, and it meant that Fnatic would just turn the fight around, get onto SK Gaming, get the first kill, and then chase. Pop the ultimate from Reckless, and you won't escape. Get a few more kills, and now the Baron. This game, man, it just completely turned around.
Turn that game on its head. Take a look at this one. SK thought they caught them out.
First of all, Jessis, no ultimate onto him, so he's actually going to be very, very weak in this fight. And you see Sana going onto him, just killing him. Meanwhile, the rest of SK trying to kill Yellowstar. He's not going to go down. I mean, so many abilities to just keep him alive. And from here on, because Jessis had no ultimate, because he died so fast to Sana, very good job by him. And then with the Civi ultimate, just chasing on after the rest of SK.
5-3 up in kills, a Baron for Fnatic, and look at the gold. They are in the lead now, and that just shows you what patience is going to do. And
they're even.
They're even now, yeah. Okay, they're actually a slight tick behind, but they're closer than they've been since the very, 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 very beginning of this game. That is my point. We've got Dragon coming up in a minute as well, and maybe, just maybe, Fnatic will actually be feeling confident enough to have a bit of a challenge at that one. They see that they're there. Spear just hit Jessis, by the way, which pretty much destroyed his chances of sticking around for this next fight. We've got 40 seconds for Dragon. SK are in position. Fnatic are going to get more wards down there, though, surely.
And the big difference here with Fnatic, they have the siege comp. They have the ability to push you onto the towers. They're not going to sit around. Now they have that advantage. Rated getting caught out. Zenith Blade's in there, flashes away, and does manage to get out of it. Good play from Rated using the Zenith Blade to actually help and alleviate his escape there. Looking at Soaz though, he's got so much damage built up on towards him at the moment. He's going to go across, he's going to deal with Freddy.
And look at the response from SK actually, moving Freddy here, so he forces someone to go there, trying to prevent Fnatic from just sieging up 5 members. So as though Teleport is actually down, so he won't be able to join in for this fight here. Jessis, however, won't actually be able to join in either.
He wouldn't be able to join in if that landed, that's for sure. And Fnatic, well, they are going to stack up. As you mentioned, Dragon is up, but I don't think that's what they're interested in. They're going to come around. Another spear comes through. This time it takes on towards Rated. Takes a chunk of health off him. Fnatic will get themselves their first Dragon of the game. That's going to keep their gold advantage. And with this Baron buff, they are starting to take advantage. His bottom tower is going to be the next focus for Fnatic.
Yeah, and once they actually really start grouping up towards the turret and force SK to stand there, we're really going to see the power of the siege come from Fnatic. If SK engages onto them and Fnatic dislike the fight, they will try and disengage with the Civi ult, or if they feel like they're in the advantage, they're just going to stay there, and Sana is just going to pop his ultimate, jump into the face of SK Gaming and just try and destroy them instantly.
Fnatic, all that time that they were spent on the back foot, you know, they lost 1 inner tower. They were farming constantly this whole time. 32 minutes in, and look at Reckless CS, 328, pretty much bang on the level where you want to be. They're going to get themselves now a second turret in a row. Going to be so hard to stop them.
And the whole reason they stayed in this game was because every single time SK tried to do something, a spear, a binding in their face, and wow, look at the damage onto Jessis. He's so squishy. But it meant SK could never get anywhere. And
that's a horrible combo. That's for sure.
This is so annoying to look at. I mean, binding, then you get the boomerang, then you get the spear, and you are back in the base.
I don't know, I kind of like looking at this compared to the last 20 minutes, I'm not going to lie. That's the turret going down there. Cyanide will get the last blow onto that one, and Fnatic, quite frankly, can just move up, clear that top wave out, steal the whole jungle away, and then siege themselves up on that last inner turret. And SK must be ruining the time that they had in the lead in this one and weren't able to capitalize.
Luckily enough for SK, they still got a good comp when it goes to just start a fight. If they manage to land the CC on a target, Yellowstar, a bit slow with the Black Shield for instance, they get to this target, they instantly blow him up, they can still win the fights. Yellowstar though has been pretty much on point with the Black Shield so far, so it's gonna make it harder for SK to start, but still, they have so much damage on this team, they have so much CC, they can still win team fights if they just get the right engage.
Not there, Jessis. Already been stolen away, just like everything else in the SK's jungle. So, SK, as you mentioned, they must be really wondering why did we not capitalize on this advantage we had early on. 4,000 gold advantage for Fnatic. They've spun this lead very much in their favor from the attack. Candy Panda, though, going aggressive and actually taking a fair bit of damage himself. He tries to put the culling down, gets a good massage of damage onto Peke, but look at that, just turns around, heals himself up. Wild Growth was always available from Soaz as well, so never really in big danger. Spear lands on Svenska and half his health gone in an instant.
Not that sneaky. Svenskeren thought he got away. There's the dart binding onto him. Svenskeren going to go low. He's going to repel, but he'll be stunned when he comes down. Cyanide down to the back. Svenskeren, is he going to fall? He's very, very low at the back. He finally does go down. There's another spear from Peke. Candy Panda trying to keep him away, but the rest of the team coming in. Reckless now on a rampage. Jesus is low. He goes down to Reckless as well. Freddy caught in the middle, feared up for days, and he will fall down as well.
They can finish the game.
Going to be the ace for Fnatic.
Such a good team fight, landing the poke and then Yellowstar flashing in with the binding, starting everything. And because Fnatic, they were so healthy from the start, and because Cyanide jumping into the face of Candy Panda, he won't be able to do anything with this Nocturne in your face. And then they just continue, chase on, get the kills.
11-second respawn, that's only on Svenskeren.
Go
Peke's happy to deal with this one. They've got shields, they've got heals, they've got everything they need to take down the Nexus turrets. And Fnatic will take game 2 after being down so far. They turn this game on its head and just capitalize on a single mistake that SK made. It was a great performance by Fnatic.